Hi and welcome to this edition of the Paisley Diocese podcast. In this episode I speak to the SPRED group in the Diocese of Paisley. In particular I speak to Norma Scott, who runs the SPRED group. I also find out about who they're looking for when they say that they're looking for volunteers. Norma joins me now. Could you tell us, what does SPRED mean?
Well, the initials SPRED stand for Special Religious Development. And it's a special way of helping people, not just people, our parishioners, to be included in the everyday life of the church. It helps them to grow in their faith and become part of their own parish community. And in actual fact, we have members here who are altar servers, who are in the St Vincent de Paul, and they touch the hearts of everyone that they meet. And it's a joy to have them as groups here to develop and share in their faith life as well as our own.
When was SPRED started?
Well, it actually began way back in the 1950s, and it actually began in Belgium with 3 priests, and one of those priests was asked to be a chaplain to what would be known in those days as an institution, really, for people who have what we call additional support needs nowadays, but it was called like all sorts of different things, which thankfully we don't use nowadays. And the priest initially realised that what was happening in these institutions were that the people in them with these difficulties were all getting plenty support in practical things, but their faith journey was missing. And he saw that as something that should be there, and they shouldn't be excluded out of faith. So he began with another 2 priests that joined him to develop a method to be able to help people feel included and understand their faith at their own level. And that became a method known as the method Vivre. And it was more, not so much about your head, it was more about your heart. And it was also more about being sensorial with people who have difficulties like that. Because words mean nothing to them. But seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching all mean something. And they live in the moment, they live in the everyday moment of life. So they can't, if you said to them like 3 weeks on Tuesday, we're all going to go to the theatre, that wouldn't mean anything. It wouldn't mean anything. But if you gave them something that was to do with the theatre, like a prop or something, and showed them it, it's an everyday object that they're then looking at. And from that object, you can take that further. It's the same in our faith with that. We can take a cup, an ordinary everyday cup, and end up talking about friendship from that cup. Because what do we do with that cup? As we're sitting this morning, Tony, we're having a wee cup of tea.
Yeah.
And so we're sharing friendship together. And that's the basics of SPRED, friendship.
Who is SPRED aimed at?
It's aimed at anyone who has an additional support need. And we have people who come from age 6 to age 80. And all these different age groups are in their own group bracket, because you would certainly never put someone who's 6 with someone who's 80.
Yeah.
So there are age brackets. So we have a 6 to 10 group, we have an 11 to 16 group, we have a 17 to 21 group, and then we have a 22 plus group. So everyone has their own level, and everyone has someone who shares that journey with them, so they have their own friend. The complexities of their difficulties we have from mild to profound. So there is really no one that we've ever came across that cannot share and enjoy and benefit from being part of a SPRED group.
You recently had a Mass. Who was at the Mass, and why is it important for the group?
The one in the cathedral, if that's the one that you're talking about, was a very first for us. We brought together all the additional support needs schools within the diocese, and we work with all of those schools within the diocese. And the reason we did that was because mainstream schools all come together to the diocese and have masses. So it was through a parent, actually, that said to me, why can't our children have it? And honestly, it was like a light bulb moment. And I thought, well, why can't they? So looking into it, etc., 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 and speaking about it with the education guys and also the bishop, we got it all together. So the people that were there that day were all the schools from the diocese. A lot of the pupils already come here to SPRED anyway. There was our volunteers there. There was people there who were one-to-one friends with those children that were there. And obviously there was the clergy and everything there as well. And we had a wonderful mass. It was so uplifting. And the ordinary parishioners of St Murn's were there that day, and we had wonderful feedback from them too. So the whole thing was just joyful. It was wonderful. It was really good.
Do you look for volunteers for SPRED?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question, because yes is the answer. Always. We always need more help. We need more help because we have people here who come who don't have that one-to-one person that's their friend. You don't need to be very knowledgeable in your faith about it, because that is something that grows here when you come anyway. And I think the biggest thing you need is to be able to be a friend and have a good heart, and also be able to spare a wee bit of time once a week. Come once a week and, give a wee bit of your time, and please believe me, the rewards that you get back will be, it's hard to put into words. It's hard to put into words. So we need volunteers for our actual learning disabled members, but we also require drivers to be able to bring our people here. And driving might be seen as just a wee aside, but it's very, very important, because otherwise, how would our friends get here? Yeah. Some friends are very fortunate and families bring them, but not everyone has that. So we're looking for friends, and we're looking for people who could become a friend, a befriender almost, but we call them catechists. And we're looking for drivers. And the SPRED Centre is actually situated up here in the car park of St Peter's Church in Glenburn, and it's very, very easy to get to. Although you had a wee bit of problems this morning, Tony, with the roadworks, but I promise you they're not always there either.
Are they not?
No. You really don't need any skills other than you can be a friend to someone, and hopefully everybody can just be a friend, and that you've got a kind of good heart, and that also it's important to you about your faith. Yeah. You don't need to have hundreds of knowledge about your faith. All you need to do is basically kind of like, your faith it means a lot to you because it means a lot to our friends. However, if you're a wee bit worried about it, we do give you a bit of training, etc., etc. We don't just absolutely throw you in at the deep end. And you can come and see what happens here before you make a decision of whether it's for you or not. So there's different levels of being able to find out about us, and we'd be delighted to hear from anyone.
Do you take the groups on social outings?
Yes, we do have a social side to SPRED. There is fun and there is laughter and there is lots and lots of jokes. I'm thinking in particular of one person who is in my Thursday night group who comes absolutely laden with jokes. There's also a young man in their Wednesday night group who is a real joker. So although I'm talking about faith, and faith is our core value and everything works round about, we do have that social feeling towards it all as well. We share at table together. We have a cup of tea after we've said all our prayers and spent time with each other and with God. But we do then share a cup of tea together and everyone's news, etc., etc. But we've done things like our sponsored walk away down in Greenock, which is a real social day out. We have our Christmas party, which I don't think anybody hates missing the Christmas party. So there is a lot of family. SPRED is a family. I think that's what I'm trying to say, really. SPRED is like a family, and we have that care and respect for each other. and we also have that fun and joy as well.
What does the future look like for SPRED?
Well, at the moment, I'm very, very pleased to say that the future is looking very good. We have had lots of growth recently in new groups and things like that. And again, for the future, I would like to mention again that we need help. We need help to grow this, and we need your help to grow this. And it's a couple of hours once a week. And as I say, what you get back from it is so much more than what you start to put into it. What keeps me here in SPRED is our friends who have the disability, because they do not ask you what qualifications you've got. They're not interested in if you're a millionaire. They're not interested in if you're clever or not. They actually accept you for you. And that's unique, especially in this day and age. It's unique. And that's what holds me here. So that is what our future is looking like. We are looking rosy, if you want to put it like that. The future's looking rosy, and just I need more help to make it bigger and better.
Is it only one church in the diocese that you operate from?
What we have is a centre here, and that services all the parishes in the diocese. So there are every parish is involved in some way, but the groups all come here to meet. We do have Inverclyde as well, and Inverclyde at the moment is in a wee bit of a kind of transitional period, and again that is going to be growing and developing as well. So yes, the whole diocese is involved in this, and it's for anyone who can volunteer, but it's also the other way around. If there's anyone out there who feels that we could support someone, either that they know or part of their family, then please don't hesitate to get in touch as well. So it's a two-way street. It's not just volunteers, it's also for people who have those additional support needs. And if we can support them, we would be delighted to find out about them.
A follow-up question to that then would be, how would people get in touch with you?
Well, we're on Facebook. We are in the diocesan directory, and all of our details are there. Or basically, we are at, it's just as well I've got help in this, by the way.
Yeah.
Anybody listening? Our phone number is 0141 884 8866, and my name's Norma Scott, or there's Carol in the office as well, and either of us are quite happy to give you more information, etc, etc.
Thank you very much for your time, Norma.
Thank you, Tony. It's not been quite as stressful as I thought, so thank you very much, and we'll finish with cuppa.
Okay.